Okay, we're back. Zoe Flowers here, back with another reading, the Women's History Tarot of the day from the Our Tarot Guidebook. So, super excited, fresh off of the full moon in Libra yesterday, my sign. And so for me, it was a day of abundance, of welcoming abundance. I bought some beautiful green calcite yesterday. Calcite is a stone of abundance. I did a beautiful full moon ritual. Really this morning, not technically yesterday, really this morning, programming these crystals and re energizing my altar and my crystal grid, I should say. And so now we have the Ten of Pentacles showing up, right? Foretelling good fortune. Last week was a really amazing week for good fortune. This week, so it's the momentum is growing, is what I'm feeling, right? So let's see what Gabrielle Mistral is giving here. All right. Ten of Pentacles. Oh, she's from Chile. She was born in 1889, transitioned in 1957. So the Ten of Pentacles, and again, Pentacles represents Earth sign, right? So Capricorn. Oh my gosh. I have a Capricorn rising. Why am I blanking on the other two Earth signs? Taurus and Virgo, right? So things of the earth, resources is what the Pentacles are about. So upright, wisdom, travel, philosophy, and a peaceful community. So this is very interesting because these things is particularly travel is very much on my mind right now. So we have Gabrielle Mistral possessed wisdom beyond her years from an early age. Born Lucia Godoy y Alcayaga and raised in a small Chilean village, she was already helping support herself and her mother by the time she was 15 years old. Working as a teacher's aide, Lucia also published some poems in local newspapers using several pen names and variations on her given name. Interesting. As she worked on her poetry, she also taught the need for teachers in Chile was dire. Very few teachers were trained, including Lucia. Though some school administrators disliked the liberal bent of her newspaper publication, as she publicly advocated for greater access to education for all in her writing, her credibility was increased by being a nationally published writer. As a result, she was able to rise quickly as a teacher and administrator within Chile's school system. In the 1920s, she relocated to Mexico to help reform and expand the education system there as well. In 1922, she published her first book of poems, Desolación, Desolation. By this time, she had been using the pseudonym Gabriela Mistral for over a decade. Her collection of poems, Ternura, Canciones de Niños, Tenderness Songs for Children, published in 1924, proved very popular. Latin American families adapted Gabriela's poetry as lullabies and children's songs, wow, which were widely sung throughout the region. Gabriela toured the United States and Europe during the early 1920s, advocating for the education of all, particularly women and children. In 1925, she returned to Chile, but retired from teaching in the nation's education system. That same year, she was appointed by the Chilean delegate for the International Institute of Intellectual Cooperation of the League of Nations, Internacional Instituto of, what is intellectual? Intelectuales? I don't know. Despite her lack of formal education, the University of Chile granted her a professorship during Gabriela's tenure as a professor. Wow. One of her students was renowned poet Pablo Neruda. In 1926, she gave up this position and relocated to Europe. Gabriela spent her career speaking at conferences for women and educators around the world. She also taught at multiple colleges and universities. She published volumes of poetry as well as articles in magazines and newspapers. In 1945, Gabriela became the first Latin American person and only the fifth woman ever to receive a Nobel prize in literature. Until the end of her life in 1957, she served as Chilean delegate to the UN Commission on the Status of Women. Gabriela Mistral created a better Chile by using her gifts as a poet to delight the country's readers and her skills as an educator to improve their opportunities. So, what I'm taking from this is that even though she didn't have that formal education, or even if you don't have that formal education, or we don't have that formal education that people say you need, does not mean that you can't achieve the Ten of Pentacles. Doesn't mean that you don't have a role in society. As a matter of fact, your role might even be more clear because it's unobstructed by academia. So teach from where you are, lead from where you are, is what I'm hearing. The Ten of Pentacles celebrates accomplishments and contributions that make for better, more harmonious communities. This card's appearance in your reading indicates an ability to create a serene world for yourself, even if it's only your inner world. The Ten of Pentacles asks, what skills and accomplishments do you possess that ought to be celebrated? So also celebrating yourself and celebrating ourselves is so important. What steps can you take using your unique skills to create more harmony around you? What skills, what steps can you take using your unique skills to create more harmony? So, like I told you, I started this morning reinvigorating, re-empowering my crystal grid, right? So that is using my natural skill of witchery, intuition, to create more harmony. So how can we make that bigger? How can we take something and make it bigger to increase the harmony? What would a better community look like to you? Well, I already know that. I was thinking about that this morning. And what can you do to create it? So this is all very on point for me. I'd love for you all to let me know if it's on point for you, because these are questions that are very, very much on my mind. Like, these are things I think about literally every day. And so the Ten of Pentacles is here to ask us that, right? What will we do for growth? The green calcite. What can we do to experience more abundance and to make the world more abundant as well? That's the question for you today. And if nobody's told you so far, you are loved and you deserve love. And I'll see you next time. Bye.